Welcome to What It's Worth, the show where we look at a game and see if it's worth its value. Now, whether you love them or hate them, you really gotta give it up to developer Peter Molyneux, promise maker extraordinaire.
I'm trying to make Fable 2 the greatest role-playing game of all time again.
He's delivered good games, that's undeniable, but it always burns pretty bad when a game comes out that doesn't deliver. Not that I knew that as a 10-year-old playing Fable on my original Xbox, but I do remember everything that happened afterwards. Peter would hype the game, and then people hated it because it's not what he said it was. This is how the Fable series went on. Just like this until it finally got canned with Fable Legends. Now, he's not a bad developer. He just loves to talk up his projects. I can honestly forgive that. But what I can't forgive is the trend that he started. Hype culture has existed as long as PR has, but following through on pre-release promises seems to be happening less and less often now. Watch Dogs and Far Cry 4 were early warning signs, but at the time of writing, Mighty No. 9 and No Man's Sky are the worst culprits. And now it seems like everyone is trying to hype everything to high heaven. Remember when a game could be just good? Not necessarily amazing, but not necessarily total garbage either. When did a 7 out of 10 become the worst possible score a game could get? Now, unfortunately, I can't answer that. I wish I could, but I can't. But what I can do is play the last Peter Molyneux game before this whole hype shitstorm came up. Now, as luck would have it, about 2 years ago, there was an actual HD remastering of Fable The Lost Chapters, known as Fable Anniversary, with none of the Molyneux hype surrounding it. Of course, since this is an HD release of a game, I'm going to have to review it on those merits, as well as the original core gameplay, and seeing if that is held up. Now, since we've gotten all of those disclaimers out of the way, let's see if this game is held up, shall we? As a fantasy RPG, Fable hits all the stops, all-knowing gravelly voice narrator,
Deep in the forest of Albion lay the small town of Oakvale.
serene village of likable NPCs, all of them violently massacred before the 10-minute mark, and being rescued by an NPC with symbols on his face.
We must leave. It's not safe here.
But before all of that, you're introduced to the game's mortality mechanic. Now, unlike most games where they wag your fingers at you like a disappointed parent, Fable's a lot more upfront about your punishment. You become less approachable when you do things that aren't nice, and the NPCs will act accordingly. It's very black and white. Promising not to tattle tilts the needle towards evil, even though you haven't done anything yourself, while beating up a bully will tilt you towards good, because the little bastard had it coming. Now, this isn't Undertale. The good guy will get his hands dirty, and all of this is communicated just through talking to other villagers. This is also completely pointless, because bandits come up and kill everybody in the town. And this is where a very common theme of Fable comes out: the illusion of choice. Now, when you play a game, you want choices to be like this, going two different separate ways. But Fable has this really cool idea of going like this, where you end up back at the same point no matter what, so the choices don't even matter. Cut forward a few years, now that you understand the morality system, it's time for your combat tutorial. Your master predictably teaches you magic and has you sprawl with your roommate to learn about weapons. Now, I suppose there could be worse things you and your roommate of the opposite gender could be doing together. The combat in this game is third-person, real-time combat with some light RPG elements mixed in. You use melee combat, archery, and magic all interchangeably. If you were expecting magic to be the most overpowered way of playing, well, it is, but not until late game. You'll use arrows and swords plenty, especially since archery is super strong at the beginning, and swords remain reliably useful throughout the game. Killing enemies gets experience points to level stats and the 3 attributes mentioned above. All of these mechanics blend really well together and make some fantastic gameplay that you'll rarely get tired of. Because the story takes no risks whatsoever, Whisper, your roommate while training, turns up occasionally as a rival type. Some missions have good or evil objectives, such as protecting a shipment or stealing it. Whichever choice you make, Whisper will turn up trying to do the other objective, and you two inevitably fight. You know, all the verbal abuse she gets from her brother...
That's all wrong, Whisper. You need to practice more. Shame you couldn't see me fight in the arena. You might have learned a thing or two.
And all the physical abuse she gets from you, she must have some pretty low self-esteem. Speaking of emotional baggage, the main plot involves you trying to reunite with your sister. Now, I for the life of me can't remember what her name is, so I'm just gonna call her what she really is. Block of wood.
So much killing, so much dying. I've seen you, little brother, in a ring of sand and blood, an arena full of secrets.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said the wrong thing. Fortune-telling block of wood. So, she pops in every once in a while to say cryptic bullshit until she ends up getting kidnapped by the bad guy all over again. Now, if it feels like this is going nowhere, it's because it is. But let's be honest, you're not really playing Fable for the story. Nah, you're here for the spectacular arena battle, or the cool prison sequence, or the ability to set dozens of troll people on fire while wearing a chicken mask. In a world of RPGs with charming gameplay and weak plot, Fable has the charmiest gameplay and the weakest plot. I mean, and that's all there really is to say about Fable. Now, it looks like here there is a post-story mission. Let's see what that has to offer. Oh, let's go talk to the Guildmaster. Got any quests, buddy? Whoa, a cutscene? What is that thing? I've fought dozens of reskins of the same enemy in this game, but that is new. And the next 2 hours of gameplay are glorious. There's new locations, new enemies, new spells, and it's not even just that they added new stuff. They also trimmed a lot of the fat from the stuff that used to be there. Remember fortune-telling block of wood? Gone. Overly serious tone? Gone. Whisper challenge you? Actually, her arc gets kind of a melancholy conclusion. The bad guy from the main game is back as a Saturday morning cartoon villain that calls you up telepathically to be an asshole every 10 minutes. God, is it great. See, I don't care if the last 2 hours are a complete overhaul. They're just so much more fun now. And you know, that's actually to sum up this last part of the game. It has no reason to exist, but damn am I happy that it does. Whew, they really rallied there at the end. But now it's time to get down to brass tacks. Now, Fable Anniversary is actually worth around $35 to $40 either on PC or Xbox 360, whichever you desire. Although the PC version is quite bugged, as well as having terrible options for mouse and keyboard users. Now, I personally used a controller while I was playing on PC, so I didn't have an issue, but limiting mouse and keyboard options and user freedom for controls is never good. So, is Fable Anniversary worth about $35 to $40? No, I wouldn't say so. Now, if the HD release had some sort of new content or something like that, or it was the only version available that you could play, I would totally recommend getting it. But right now, for original Xbox and for PC, both brand new, you can get Fable The Lost Chapters for $10, which is a great deal. And that also includes that last 2 hours of gameplay that I really love. So if I sold you on this game and you think you'd want to play it, go get that version because it's cheaper and you're getting your money's worth. Way better than this version. Sadly, Fable Anniversary is just not worth it.